Hello, my soul brothers and soul sisters. This is the Ron Smith Investigate Show, where we separate the real from the fake, the fact from fiction, and give you the winner's edge. And sometimes we able to turn your water into wine. Today, we will continue our series on money, financial literacy. Did you know we spend money all the time, and money is all around us? But how many people actually have a plan for their money? And one of the things that we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about some of the basics today. And one of the things that Sean Carter, and I call him the 21st century poet, also known as Jay-Z, said, "I am a businessman." And what he mean that is that we have to change our way of thinking. We have to do a paradigm shift of how we view ourselves. And he viewed himself as a young man as a corporation. And within that corporation, just like Microsoft, IBM, Tesla, there are some components. There's administrations, there's management, there's marketing, and there's finance. If you can consider yourself as myself as Ron Smith Incorporated, the same things that Tesla has to do, I have to do. Think about management. I have to manage myself and to make sure that I am doing what I need to do. As an individual, I have to make sure if I'm employed, I have to come to work on time, and I have to do the tasks that I'm professionally assigned. As an individual, that you have to manage your own time and have taken those same responsibility, such as marketing. There's another key component. When you fill out your application, if you are employed, and you do update your resume, those are things that you are actually marketing yourself. Just as a company, if they need new employees, will go to Indeed.com and some other search engines for new employees. If you think about finance, that I have to have a plan for my finance, where there is a total whole section for a company to handle finance, and you have to do the same thing. In administration, I have to make sure that I'm on time. I have to marketing and administrate the things that I'm doing for myself. So basically, those are the things that a company does, and you have to do as an individual in this paradigm shift. Money is like a drug. It appears that when we have it, we feel good, we're on that high, and feel that we are successful. And when we don't have it, when we have those days that we have more month than money, we have a low. And then that creates an environment within ourselves that we go to a job that sometimes we don't like and have to actually interact with people that don't like us in particular. And we do it because we, at the end of the bi-weekly or monthly, we get a paycheck. And that's the only motivation that we have, because that give us the means to buy more stuff. What we need to do is have a plan for what we want to do. So one day we might decide that we want to go on our own and start our own side hustle. And I recommend that whatever you plan on doing during the time that you are employed, if you are employed, is one way to create finance for yourself. With that point, and last time I talked about 5 basic things to consider: how you earn or create your money, how you manage your money, which we're talking a little bit about today, and leverage, and how you protect your money, and how you build a legacy. But one of the things that I want to really focus in on today is leverage. Most of us are not able to go ahead and buy that $50,000 car. We need to get it financed through our bank or some other means, or buy that house. Putting money down, let's say if you're buying a home, I recommend that you buy an apartment building, but that's another topic for another discussion. you're going to have to put down 20%. And let's say that you buy a $300,000 home or $500,000 home, you have to put 20% down there on that particular property. The rest of that, let's say, 380, if it's a $400,000 house, is use a leverage from a mortgage company or some type of financial company. In order to do that, you have to have a credit score that this person, this finance company will finance what you're trying to do. Now, what they're going to do is either go to the 3 credit agencies, which is Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, to see what is your credit worthiness. Now, have you heard of FICO? FICO? FICO is a data analytic software company that provides these products and services for these financial institutions. And it took me maybe about 20 years, because I wasn't interested in learning about money, to find out what FICO really stands for. And FICO stands for Fair Isaac Corporation. And basically, it's a corporation that provides credit scores for individuals or companies, what their credit worthiness. And they assign numbers. The lowest end is 300 to the highest end of 850. And you remember, I think 2 shows ago, I told you that some of my peers, when my first job when I was in the Marine Corps, had scores up to 750 to 850. And I was not aware of that these guys were in that bracket and how they got there. By way of review is that basically their parents or someone put them on their credit card as authorized users. And to order to get the 800 and 850 credit score, you have to have an exemplary record for over 10 years. So think about it. And here's my tip is that if you have a young person, child, or, you might be an uncle or aunt, that you have a person that you want to make sure that they succeed in life, you need to start when they're preteen. So basically, you get a credit card, and I suggest that you a credit card that you know that you're going to pay off every month. So basically, you can keep those credit high. So an active credit card over a 10-year period would be able to get you into those high-end credit score. And that's what we want to look at, because basically the financial institution, they would rate you on your risk of you paying back. Now, there's several things that they look at. They look at your credit history, which means that 10-year period that I'm talking about of on-time payment. They look at how much debt you have, because if you're not paying in cash, a lot of people say that I don't want no debt and I want to pay everything in cash. Well, you don't have a credit history if you pay everything in cash, and they don't understand what you repayment history. See, all these things are taking place. And just because you don't owe anybody means that basically they don't have no history on you, and you'll probably end up paying just as much as somebody who has a, let's say, 550 or 650 credit score. So you need to make sure, if you're not what I call a trust fund baby, that you can pay all these large items in cash, that you might need to consider that. So one of the ways that you can get your credit score for free is Credit Karma. And if you can Google free credit report, that you are entitled to get a credit report at least once a year for free. So one of the things that this segment is about is make sure that you know what your credit score is. Now, what you don't want to do is apply for a lot of credit cards, because that is another black mark that will reduce your chances of actually improving your score. And if you're ready to, let's say within the next 6 months, you know that you want to purchase a large item, whether it is that new car or that home or the apartment building that I highly recommend that you do not apply for these credit cards from certain stores. The stores that used to be in the mall, and I'm not going to name them, but those things count against your credit score. One of the things that, besides leverage, I want to talk about protection. Everybody knows that, especially in the state of Virginia, you have to have car insurance. And if you have a employee, they have policies where you can get health insurance. And one of the things that I want to just mention today is, how do you build a legacy? Two things that you can do that most people think that you have to be very wealthy to do. Now, one is I'm going to talk about being a trust. Most attorneys won't talk to you unless you have at least minimum $250,000. But you can't do a will. A will will protect the assets that you have and distribute it to the people that you want them to have. The next thing is get a insurance policy. Especially in the minority community, we have this tendency to, start GoFundMes to bury our loved one, and because we don't have insurance. The next thing is that we don't get enough insurance. A friend of mine who sells insurance, basically he said that every person of color normally goes trying to get just enough to bury an individual, or they go for $25,000 or $50,000, or he said max is $100,000. He said that people who are, he just threw this out, who are Caucasian, when they come to his office, they do not get insurance less than $1 million. And he's told me the thing about it is that just for a few dollars more, these people who getting these $50,000 and $100,000 policy, they can get $1 million policy. And I'm going to talk about another show about how you can use that life insurance. It's, most people think about it's a death insurance policy, but you can use that part of your legacy as a life insurance policy. And I will be getting more details with that. So two things that I want to implore you that basically do a paradigm shift. You are a corporation, even though you are individual and it's tax season, and basically, there are certain things that you can do on your taxes, certain things you can't do, certain things like a corporation can benefit from that you can't. But if you consider yourself as a business in your administration and with your finance, as in your marketing, and all those things that a business does, you can come out better once you have a plan. It's amazing that I went through 4 years of business school, and they taught me how to do all these things for a corporation, but I never got constructive education in finance from school. So that's the reason why we're starting this series, that we're going to start. These are some of the things that we are talking about, the basics, and we're going to build upon them each session until basically we're talking about investment. We're talking about what you need to do as far as what we call personal banking with your life insurance policy, et cetera, et cetera. And I thank you for your time. This has been the Dr. Ron Smith Investigate Show, and we're doing a series on money and developing your financial literacy. Until next time, thank you for your time and be blessed.